Okay, so hello and welcome back to GCSE Potential, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about preparing for Year 11. Now, you guys are probably very scared. That's probably why you're watching this video, because your teachers are telling you, like, Year 11, it's life or death, GCSE is life or death. To be honest, they really aren't. Like, this is quite ironic, right? I've just finished sitting my GCSEs and I'm recording this, like, right now. And retrospectively, I sort of regret how much I revised in Year 11 because I put a bit too much effort in. I guess I should be able to seep the rewards August 25th. But yeah, I feel like GCSEs really aren't as deep as people make them out to be. But I think the video is going to be more overall. So I'm going to separate it into 3 separate sections. In the first part of the section, the first part of the video, I'm going to be talking about academic, which is arguably the most important. In the second part of the video, I'm going to be talking about social, which is, in my opinion, almost equally as important. And it's something that like a lot of people just ignore, basically. But socials are very important, especially in Year 11. And finally, I'm going to be talking about the future, because although you're sitting GCSEs in the present, you've also got to consider moving sixth forms, roles of responsibility, which A-levels you want to take, etc. So in this video, I'm hoping to cover all 3 sections. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, with academics, let's jump right into it. Don't deep it, like genuinely. GCSEs, as I mentioned earlier, they are fairly important. If you have dreams of going to a top university, or even going into a top sixth form like Brampton Manor Academy, you need to see which sixth form you want to go to first of all. That's in the future bit. But depending on that sixth form that you want to go to, they have certain grade requirements. Usually they tend to be like a 6 or a 7 in the subject you want to study, and overall you need a few 6s. But some schools are like really selective, especially private schools. Don't go to private school, by the way. That's a whole other story. But I'd say that you don't really need to deep GCSEs because it's not really that hard to do very well. GCSEs are basically a memory test, right? So I'm ranting quite a bit here. It's very unstructured. But GCSEs are basically just a memory test, in essence. So I feel like it's not really too hard to do really well. But I feel like if I give you the revision methods I used, and if they've worked for me, hopefully they're going to work for you. I'm going to make separate videos for every subject on how like I got a certain grade in each subject. That's for a bit later on. But for now, I'm going to cover like the main basis of revision that you need to know. Okay, so this might be in like a timeline sort of thing. But firstly, I'd say the best decision that I made, like just overall, is by starting to make my flashcards early. So I like push Anki Flashcards all the time. Put a photo here. Anki, it's honestly, someone needs to make an edit of me and Anki. I'll probably make it myself. I love Anki so much. But it's basically just a flashcard tool that allows you to memorize absolutely anything. And it's used science. There's 2 things called active recall and spaced repetition. I made a separate video on Anki. There we go. I'll put that there. Go and watch that video. But Anki literally changed my life. Like, it took me from 5s to 9s in some subjects. It's insane. It's really like, it should be pushed more by schools, but it just isn't because they don't know about it. But yeah, what I'd recommend is as soon as possible. I did a little bit in summer, but not much because I couldn't really be bothered. But just start making Anki flashcards. And gradually, as you go on with the year, if you've already got your flashcards made quite early, it means you can memorize information early. Then you can spend time more effectively. And when you're coming up to actual mocks or exam season, you can spend more time doing past papers, which is the most important thing. So yeah, that's the first one I make your flashcards early. Definitely do Anki flashcards too, and go watch that video. Secondly, when revising, use the specification. So I need to make a video on the art of making a flashcard, but Anki flashcards, when you make them, you really need to make them in a way which is effective. Because a lot of the times what people do is they put like notes on the back of a flashcard and then a few questions at the front, which is okay, but it's just like unnecessary. You don't need the notes. It's a waste of time. So instead of making those notes, you need just a question on the front and the answer behind. And when you make those flashcards, use the specification. The specification is a document which you can find on your exam board website for every subject. So let's say I'll put the AQA biology one there. And it basically tells you all of the information you need to memorize for the exam. It's literally everything in one document. So if you use the spec to make your flashcards, then if you memorize everything that can possibly appear in the exam, you're pretty much set for the exam. It's pretty much what I did, and I feel like the exams went quite well. So I'd certainly recommend using the specification, and something that people just don't talk about, which is really annoying. Generally, the whole revision process can be split up into 3 separate sections. So that's learn, memorize, and practice. For learning, it's just YouTube videos. I think in the description of this video, I've got like a little bit showing exactly how I revise, but it's literally just learn, memorize, practice. So you learn either in class or through using YouTube videos. You then memorize using Anki flashcards, then practice by doing past papers. So that's like a very key thing. I'll probably make another video on that. But yeah, that's just literally the main way to revise. You don't need to do anything else. Oftentimes I see people, I'll probably put a photo here. There's people who make like fancy notes and like wham mind maps and stuff like that. If it works for you, just do it. But like, I didn't even need to do that, man. People revise for like hours and hours doing random stuff, and like they're inventing new like goofy revision methods. Just don't do it, man. Just stick to the basics. It works, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'd certainly recommend just doing exactly what I did. But if you do find another method that's more effective, then certainly go and use it. But just be careful with which methods that you use. A method that you must stay away from is simply rewriting the textbook. That's what a lot of people do, so I'd very much avoid that. So starting the year, most schools, I don't know if it's most schools, quite a lot of schools, they give out revision guides for each subject so students can revise using them. But some schools don't. So if you do not get revision guides and you need to buy them, you absolutely should buy them, by the way, because some of them are very, very good. I'd recommend these ones. They're Collins ones. I'm pretty sure I am a Collins ambassador, so I am slightly biased here. But genuinely, the thing that makes these revision guides so special, and the reason why I love them so much, is because the spec, which I mentioned earlier, these are made using the spec. They're made using the spec, so literally the exact wording of the spec is in here. So if you answer a 4 mark on IVF, for example, because this is the exact wording, you just get all 4 marks. It's as easy as that. But yeah, when you buy your revision guides, be careful with the ones you get. Some of you might not know about like exam boards and stuff like that. So there's AQA, EdXL, etc. So you need to get the right exam board, the right tier, so either foundation or higher. And sometimes there's different like parts of a subject, so like triple or combined. But yeah, revision guides, get them at the start of the year, or get them as soon as possible. If you're watching this video right now, just go and get a revision guide. But for every subject, I'd very much recommend it. There are revision resources online, but in my opinion, revision guides for information are very, very useful. So I would urge you to get some. Okay, so this is more of a separate note, but one thing that I did, it's a bit sneaky, I can't lie to you. And yeah, it is a bit sneaky, but you can learn ahead. So in some subjects when I was struggling, I didn't really want to be left behind in class, and I felt like it would give me a more comprehensive understanding of a topic if I learnt ahead. Because it meant that if I like watched a YouTube video that went to class and I had questions in my head already that I needed to ask the teacher, it meant that by asking those questions I could get such a solid understanding of a topic that I just barely would need to revise it because I just know it so well. So I think physics at one point I was struggling a little bit with waves. I think it was waves. And I went a little bit ahead. And then when I came back to class, when we were learning these new topics, I understood like all of the baseline stuff. So I could ask the really, really deep hitting questions. And now I'm taking A-level physics. So here we are. But yeah, from a subject that I was struggling with quite a lot to a subject I really enjoy nowadays, there's definitely a very, very big benefit to going ahead. You don't have to do it, but if you are struggling with the subject, I would recommend it because it worked for me. So now in terms of actual school life, there are just a few things I've got noted down here. Get your homework done on time. Like as soon as the homework is set out, I would do it like as soon as possible, because the homework is based on the lesson that you just had. So if you do it as soon as possible, you can quickly understand what parts you do and don't understand. Then if you do struggle with it, you can ask a teacher. Ask your teachers, man. That's another point. Ask your teachers. If you're sat there on results day and you're annoyed because you did quite bad in a subject, and you could have done better in a subject if you simply asked your teacher for help with some topics that you weren't understanding, but you didn't want to do it because you were just too nervous, just go and take the plunge. There's no disadvantage of asking your teacher. You've got to remember, teachers, they're basically walking mark schemes. And if you develop a strong relationship with the teacher, which I always endeavored to do, I sound like such a neek, but it's really, really good to have a good relationship with your teacher, because genuinely, all the teachers that I've had personally have been like, they're really nice people. They're people, we can't forget that. But they're very, very nice people. And they'd love to help out however they can. So yeah, certainly I'd recommend having a good relationship with your teacher. If you are struggling, ask them for help with anything, and get your homework done on time, because it just makes your life so much easier. You don't want to have you don't want to be going out with your friends and then remembering, oh shit, oh, can't swear here. Oh no, I have homework due tomorrow. You don't want to be thinking about that. So yeah, get your homework done on time. Okay, so this is more of a higher level tip. I'll put like a little, I don't know, graphic here. This is for like super neeks. But if you really, really want to accelerate, one thing that I do is organize your Notion. Now Notion is so hard to use. There's a person called Tenku, one of my good friends, and he made a video about organizing your Notion. I'll put it here, and I'll put it as like an info card, if I remember. Yeah, so Tenku, he made a video about using Notion. Notion is insane. Like everything in my life, everything going on in my life right now is on my Notion. So although it's basically like a second brain, it's like a productivity thing. Like you can put everything there. You can put homework that's you can put all your subject resources. It's like everything in one place. It's just so insane. I can't even explain it in detail here because it's just so beautiful. A lot of people who do well in A-level use it. But if you really want to get ahead, if you use Notion for GCSEs, it's mad. You're like levels ahead of everyone else. So yeah, if you really want to go above and beyond, set up your Notion just before GCSE start. It'll make your life so much easier. If you're so organized, it'd just be so simple to just get everything done. So yeah, I'd recommend watching the tutorial and starting to use Notion. Finally, this will probably link to social, but another thing that you've very much got to consider is that you got to focus in lessons. Do not let yourself get distracted. I'll probably talk more about friends later and who you surround yourself with during GCSEs. But yeah, just don't get distracted in the lesson, because you don't want to end up like struggling in the actual GCSE because you're being a goofy goober and playing on your phone during a physics lesson. So yeah, don't get distracted in the middle of lessons. Okay, so something else which is really important to consider is exams. So these are the things that you're probably most stressed about, and I was too. Exams are scary. They seem very, very, I don't know, intimidating. That's probably quite a good word to use for it. But genuinely, exams are not as bad as they seem. Honestly, when you actually get to exam season, you're going to enjoy it. That's a very controversial statement. People think, oh, I hate exams. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because when everyone in the country is sitting the same papers, like every single day, it's so fun. Like, it's so fun just chatting shit with your mates about like who got the question right, taking the piss out of someone who got it wrong. I don't know. I'm waffling a bit here. But genuinely, exam season is so fun when you actually get into it. So yeah, I would very much consider the fact that exams really aren't that bad. They're not intimidating as they seem. If you really want to like realize this for yourself, past papers are the way. I need to make videos on past papers, man. Past papers, you need to do them. But yeah, exams, they aren't that bad. You should enjoy the process, and you need to get sleep. Make sure you get sleep. I did not get that much sleep, which was a very, very goofy mistake, but definitely get some sleep. Stay healthy, go outside. I'll focus on that in the social section. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the academic section. So to summarize, academics are very important in the GCSE year, but there are ways where you can make it easier such that you can be very, very effective with your revision and you can make your life very, very simple. So moving on, social. Okay, I sound like I'm going to be talking like I'm in some next reality TV show, but generally social, it's pretty simple what I'm going to say. Firstly, even though it's like year 11 and a lot of people are stressed, everyone's going to be stressed, right? Everyone's in the same boat together. People are going to say, oh, I'm not revising. They are revising. And if they're genuinely not revising, they'll show in their grades, but most people are revising. So firstly, do not let that put you off. Secondly, friends should be relaxed, right? It's exam season, and although you're quite a bit stressed, your friends should still be relaxed. If you're getting into arguments in the whole of year 11, even at the start of year 11, if you're starting to beef people, you're finished, man. Just, why are you beefing people? Like, it's your last year of exams, last year of GCSEs. Just go and enjoy yourself. Like, just don't beef people. It's a waste of time. So that's something that I'd avoid. Okay, although what I'm saying is important, obviously it's easier said than done. So if you are stuck in a situation where there is quite a bit of drama, just do whatever you can to escape it, because honestly, you don't want the added stress. It's just not necessary. A lot of the times, the drama is just like, it's the most random stuff ever. Like, it's genuinely straight out of like some Netflix new show or whatever, like Love Island stuff. I don't know. Just try not to surround yourself in that. But yeah, I think that the main thing is just try not to argue, because there's only like a negative implication. Try not to get into fights. I know everyone's got a lot of like testosterone or whatever, but yeah, just try not to get into fights. Try and enjoy yourself as much as you can, because you've got to remember, like year 12 and year 13, if you're doing A-levels, it's going to be a lot of stress. It's going to be a lot of hard work. So year 11 is the last year where you can really, really enjoy yourself. So try and have fun and try not to get into arguments. This is something else that I'll quickly gloss over, but relationships, yeah, you probably don't want to get into those, man. I can't lie to you. We've had a bit of a mare story in some of the people I know. They just like, if you have like a breakup or whatever just before exams, it doesn't really go very well, and especially drama before exams. So just like, I'd personally just avoid it, man. Just avoid it. You don't need to do it. If I were in your position, I'd certainly just avoid it. I mean, I'm Muslim, but yeah, relationships, it's probably a no-go in year 11, but you could do it if you want to. Everything's just up to you. Okay, so this is on a slightly separate note, but some people think that during exam season, they're just going to be a shut-in, and just during the entirety of year 11, they're going to be a shut-in. Like, okay, I'll be honest, right, in my position, I thought that from March onwards, or like February onwards, I'd literally be shut inside my house. Like, I'd literally just be revising all day. That's the biggest, like, waffle I've ever said. The night before, like, a few of my GCSEs, I was just out on my bike with my mates. Like, genuinely, they're not that deep. That probably was a goofy decision, but I enjoyed myself at least. I was enjoying myself. But genuinely, do not become a shut-in. Don't die for your GCSEs. They're not as important as you think. I used to think they were, like, so important. Joe, when I used to watch videos where people said they weren't as important as you think, I only thought that they said that because they weren't sitting them at the time. But me, I've literally just sat them. Like, just sat them. I know that GCSEs are not deep and the exam season's fun and stuff like that. So yeah, just don't die for your GCSEs. Don't become a shut-in. Another thing is that your fitness is very, very important. Your mental well-being. one of the factors which I think affects it quite a lot is your fitness and how much you walk around and stuff like that. I would say that if you are interested in gym, or if you are a gym goer, just keep on it, man, keep on it. So what I tended to do is the entirety of year 11. To be honest, year 11 is when I started going to the gym, which is quite anticlimactic, quite odd, because you'd expect me to be revising all day, making a study camp. But yeah, gym, try and go as much as you can. Obviously there's restraints with travel and all of that, but gym is very, very important. It keeps your mental health very, very, you feel very, very tranquil all the time. You feel very, very, I don't know, I keep saying very, very, you can get everything out basically. So if you are interested, I'd certainly recommend it. Even during exam season, some people say, a lot of people I know did stop gym for exam season, but I didn't. What I tended to do is right after exams, like as soon as I got home, the gym was very close to me. So I used to go straight to the gym, and I used to just like grind it out and get all the stress out and stuff like that. So yeah, you won't have to drop gym. And I personally would recommend going every single day, not every single day, most days, even in exam season, but obviously that's up to you. But yeah, if you want to get started on the gym, I'd highly recommend it. I think that's probably the end of the social section. I don't want to talk about too much, but the main thing is just try to avoid arguments and try to enjoy yourself, because year 11 is fun. Okay, finally, I'm going to be talking about the future. So although GCSEs are in the present, there's a lot of stuff you've got to consider in your future. Firstly, A-levels. I'll probably make a separate video on how to choose your A-level. I'll give you a quick summary here. Make a list of all the subjects that you enjoy, and make a list of all the subjects you're good at, and then just compare, find the common denominators or whatever, find the ones which are in both lists, and possibly take those. Now if you want to go into a certain degree, let's say medicine, because that's quite popular, you need to take some subjects. So for medicine you need biology and chemistry. I mean, some universities say you only need biology, I think, but just ideally biology and chemistry. Computer science, you need maths. Some universities require further maths, etc. So yeah, just look at if you have a specific degree in mind, then look at what they're telling you to take and take those if you do enjoy it. But if you don't have a degree in mind, do the thing that I just said, make the two lists. And genuinely, the main thing about A-levels is that they're very hard. They're very, very hard. So you're going to want to take what you enjoy. Because if you don't take what you enjoy, then you won't have any motivation to keep going, pretty much. Well, you might have motivation, but like it won't be as strong because you don't enjoy it. You're not passionate about something, so you're less likely to do well. Another thing that I'd say is moving sixth forms. That's a very sticky one. I'm still in that predicament of deciding whether to move or not. My advice with that is that oftentimes people are moving from a state to a grammar or state to a private. Firstly, do not go to a private school. I would urge you not to go to a private school. The statistics, the data, maybe I'll put a graph here. The statistics clearly show that you shouldn't go to a private school. They're accepting less universities. They really, really don't like private school students anymore. They're accepting a lot less. Your parents are going to have to pay, and that's a huge burden, Some universities cost like 20 grand a year, which is some schools, private schools cost 20 grand a year, which is more than university actually. And if you're going from a state school especially, I feel like the new environment, the people there, you might not get along with them as well, especially if they've been in private education their entire life. So I would personally urge you against, I'd advise you against going to a private school. Grammar schools, still a bit of a sticky one because they've been in grammar education the entire time, so they've had better resources, etc. But I think the best possible scenario is going from a state comprehensive, so like a non-selective school, to a school which is just a sixth form. So there's one called NCS, Newham Collegiate Sixth Form, that's very good. LAE, that's more in London. There's math schools as well. Math schools are the best. That's a whole other story. But yeah, in terms of sixth forms, if you want to move, then consider all the factors. Don't just stay because it's convenient, because some sixth forms, you can look at Oxbridge offers. That's a very, very good indicator of how good a sixth form is. But some sixth forms, they're worth moving for. Like, I might have to travel like an hour a day to get to the new sixth form, but genuinely, all the stuff that they offer and stuff like that, like the different opportunities, the subjects they offer, the teaching, etc., even the environment, which is just more competitive, it might fuel you to do better. So if you are considering moving sixth form, weigh up all the factors. I'll probably make a separate video up on it, but it's definitely something to consider. I think more towards, it depends on what type of school you're applying to, but I think in September of year 11, just look about different sixth forms that you might be interested in. There's also an all-Wales scholarship, a full scholarship to Eton. I'll put a little photo there. Because if you're really, really smart and you want to go to Eton, fully boarded and stuff like that, apply for that. 100% scholarship. Imagine the scenes. Imagine the scenes if you get to Eton. Mad. But yeah, that's pretty much that for sixth form. Move if you want to, but you don't have to. Another thing that I should have mentioned earlier now, I'm a bit goofy for not mentioning this earlier because people might skip the video, but bang out your mocks. Your year 11 mocks are very, very important. They're they're probably the last time that you actually get to experience an exam setting without actually sitting an exam. So yeah, certainly bang out those mocks, and those mocks usually determine your predicted grades. And when you're applying for sixth form, they look at your predicted grades and they place a heavy importance upon them. So bang out those mocks, revise a lot for them. And it also means that if you're banging out for those mocks, you'll get into the workflow and understand what the actual GCSE is like, as well as you'll spend a lot of time making flashcards. And if you make flashcards early, as I mentioned earlier, they'll make your life so much easier. So definitely bang out your mocks. Another thing is responsibility roles. So this is like head boy, head prefect, etc. Prefects make you look a bit like a leak, but you might just have to firm that. But if you're interested in getting those roles, definitely go for it. You got to consider the workload, but because considering you're in year 11, they probably won't give you that much work. Only some schools offer these positions at this age. If you don't have a sixth form, that's probably when they're going to offer such a position. But yeah, definitely consider taking up such a role, because it teaches you a lot. It definitely teaches you a lot. So yeah, consider it if you are interested in having a role of importance within the school and being a strong member of the school community. Okay, the final thing, this is like over a year after, no, not over a year, I don't know. It's in August every year. But results day. You shouldn't be thinking about this that much. Like I had a dream. This is so cringe. I had a dream about doing well in results day, like in year 10 or something like that, and it really motivated me for some reason. But yeah, just don't think about results day that much. I'm quite excited for it. August 25th. I'm scared and nervous and excited and just so many emotions. But just don't think about results day, because that's like the final thing. If you do think about results day, think about it positively. If you think about it negatively, it's like negative affirmations. You don't want that. You want positive affirmations. You can do this. Yeah, all of that, mate. But yeah, just don't think about results day that much. That's probably the thing which is most important in your future. You get free food on results day. That's always a plus. But I think I'm probably going to end the video here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I should have summarized social and futures. But overall, I'd say that year 11, it's a year where you get to enjoy. It's a year where you get to enjoy quite a lot. Although exams are a little bit tough, honestly, they're not as deep as you think they are. You will regret revising too much. If you revise too much, you'll regret it 100%. And I'd say as long as you are confident and you're happy with how much you've revised, then do not worry about the results. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon in a bit.